Hello. You're just on mute, which is fine if you intended to be.
Oh, hi. Sorry.
That's all right. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay. How are you?
Yeah, not bad, thank you. Sun is shining.
Yeah, it's kind of sunny here. Kind of.
All right. Oh, good. Good. How's your Monday been?
All right. Yeah, just a casual Monday, I suppose. Nothing too exciting.
No.
Ready to chill for a little bit.
Yeah, good. Good. That's what we like to hear. Everyone's ready to chill out.
Yes, definitely.
Super. So we've got Brittany who's just joining now, and then there she is.
Hello.
Hello. So any injuries or anything I need to know about? Everyone feeling good? Super. Well, I know you'll both look after yourselves anyway. So I will pop you on mute and we'll make a start then. All here nice and promptly. So we're gonna start seated today as usual, really. So finding any comfortable seated position of your choosing, whether that's cross-legged. It can be quite nice to maybe grab a cushion or something to sit up on if that just allows you to kind of lengthen the spine and sit up nice and tall. So whenever you're ready, if it feels comfortable for you, maybe closing the eyes as we begin our practice of yoga. So noticing that moment of arriving and noticing how it feels to be on your mat today. So noticing how you feel in the body, how you feel in the mind. Noticing what energy you're bringing to your mat today. And welcoming yourself however you are today, so in whatever state of mind you're in, however the body is feeling, welcoming you exactly as you are, welcoming all that you are. Lovely. Maybe starting by taking a few deep breaths, so nothing special, whatever feels kind of normal and natural for you, but just bringing that present awareness to your breath. Maybe just curling the ends of the mouth to bring in a little smile. Relaxing the face, sitting up nice and tall. Keep smiling, staying present with your breath, with the body. We're all here as a little community to support each other, to breathe together, to move together. So staying present with the body, with the breath. And when you're ready, in a moment, we're going to take a nice long inhale in through the nose. And then as we exhale, we're going to sigh it all out. So that might be quite a vocal sigh. And as you do, really release any tension that you're holding in the body, whether it's in the face or in the shoulders. So when you're ready, all together, we'll have a nice deep inhale in. And then when you're ready, sighing it all out, letting everything go. Doing that again, so nice inhale in through the nose. Exhaling out through the mouth. Letting everything go. Releasing any tension in the body, keeping that breath going. So maybe one more time, inhaling in. Exhaling, letting it out. Lovely, keeping that smile going. Even if we don't really feel like smiling, fake it till you become it. Keep the smile, keep breathing, keep smiling. Biggest smile you've done all day. Lovely. So we're going to start moving shortly. You can keep your eyes closed, you can keep breathing, keep smiling if you'd like to, but as we move, we're going to be revisiting our theme of tapas. So we looked at tapas a couple of weeks ago. So one of our niyamas, and it's around discipline. So how can we kind of consistently show up in our practice, and how can we build habits that's going to allow us to find transformation, find change, both on and off the mat. So we'll really be looking to kind of build that inner fire today, really ignite some passion, some discipline, to keep kind of showing up even when things get a bit tough, and we'll keep showing up for ourselves in our practice in whatever way looks right for you. So it doesn't mean we need to take the most complicated option of everything. It doesn't mean we need to push ourselves to do 100 sun salutations, but we're going to show up as best as we can today. So a couple more deep breaths here. And then when you're ready, we'll inhale, start to reach through the hands, so reaching through the fingers, bringing them up and overhead, maybe taking the gaze to the thumb, and then bringing those palms through the center line. So bringing everything together, bringing everything to your heart space. And then as we breathe, we'll take the arms up again, so up and out, reaching through the back body, opening through the front body. As we exhale, bring the palms down. Just focusing on kind of using the breath to fuel the movements. You're moving with your breath pattern. Might be a little bit different to mine, that's all good. Keeping the breath going. Making the most of the movements. Nice big stretch with the arms, sitting up nice and tall, trying not to kind of collapse or arch through the back. That's when that cushion can be really handy sometimes. Lovely. And then next time your hands meet up and overhead, we're going to interlace the fingers, start to push the thumbs and the palms of the hand up towards the sky. Nice little finger lock here. Seeing if we can bring the elbows just a millimeter or so away. So just to create that little bit of space, you might feel the side body starting to talk to you as you find that energetic lift up to the sky. And then with your next exhale, we'll start to bring that over to the right hand side. So nothing drastic, not forcing our way down, just as far as comfortable. Keeping that space in the elbows, opening through the chest, like a little ballerina. Keep breathing, keep smiling. Lovely, then we'll bring that up to center. Then with your next exhale, taking that over to the other side. Notice if it feels different on this side. Maybe we have more space, less space. Trying to keep nice and stacked, so we're not kind of falling forward or leaning back. Everything's nice and tall. Find a bit of space in the side body. Lovely, then we'll bring those hands back up to center. Release the fingers, maybe give the wrists a little bit of a roll on the way down. Make the most of the movement. Super. And from here, we're going to find a bit of energy in the arms, a bit of activation. So we're going to take our hands out to the side, palms facing down towards the earth. So feeling that energy, that opposition from the ground. And then again, with your breath, as we inhale, we're going to bring the palms to face the sky, but really feel that twist in your shoulders. You want to move your whole arms around as we're wrapping around like we're in down dog or something. And as we exhale, we'll turn that back over. It's a nice simple movement, doesn't feel like there's a lot to it, but we're just going to keep that going. Bring that attention to the arms. I find it quite helpful to almost imagine I'm holding something, so holding something that you don't want to drop. We'll keep that going. Notice that moment when your arms start talking to you, like, oh, starting to ache a little bit. For me, I'm already there. So moving with the breath. Waking up through the arms, rotating through the shoulders. And then when you find that moment when you're like, yeah, this is pretty achy now, I'm pretty ready to move on, notice when that is. Notice what comes up in the mind and just give it 2 more full breath cycles. Lovely. And then when you're ready, we'll wrap the arms around ourselves, give ourselves a big hug. Squeezing through the back, lifting the elbows. Exhale, release the arms, and we're going to cross them over, but cross them the opposite way, so the side that feels a bit funny. Give ourselves a lovely hug. Lovely, and then we're going to release those arms, and we're going to come into our tabletop position. So maybe using the arms to bring us forward. Super, and we're going to spend a few breaths in tabletop, but it's up to you what you'd like to do here. Maybe you want to just kind of get your nice strong foundation in tabletop. Maybe you want to bring in some cat-cows. Can be quite nice just to maybe start working into the wrists. Maybe we take a couple of circles back and forth around the wrists, making them a little bit bigger when we feel ready. clawing through the fingers, keeping that kind of wrapping motion in the arms that we just did. So whatever your body's asking you for today, you can dip your hips from side to side. But just taking this little moment for yourself, so to check in with yourself, with the body, and to find a little bit of mobility, a little bit of space in your kind of torso. So your tummy, your spine, your side body, whatever needs a bit of love and attention today, you do the movement that feels good for you. So whether that's cat-cows, that's circles, that's focusing on the wrist, you can take a little figure of 8. So I'm listing off all these options, and so you don't need to look at the screen because you'll know exactly what you want to do. So finding a bit of movement, finding a bit of space, keeping that breath going, keeping that smile there. If that smile's left your face, then taking a moment to bring that back. Lovely. So when you're ready, we'll all come back to our kind of neutral position in our tabletop. So making sure wrists are under the shoulders, knees are under the hip points, wrapping the arms around, clawing through the fingers. So we're nice and strong in the hands. Lovely. From here, we're going to take the left toes back. So stretching them down the mat, maybe taking a few moments just to kind of rock back and forth on that back heel. So getting a bit of a stretch in the calf, bringing the breath. Lovely, guys, looking good. And then nice and mindfully, we're going to start to walk the right fingertips forward, but we're going to keep them on the mat so that we come to this position where we're in a little bit of a balance. Lovely. You might want to keep kind of rocking through that heel if that feels good, or maybe we just find a bit of stillness as we keep pushing up and out of the mat. So pushing down through the shin, through the toes, your hands, holding ourselves here, quite a strong position. Couple breaths. I've actually forgotten what this version of this pose is called. I don't think it's bird, but it's another animal. I'll look that up and let you know. Whew. And if you'd like to, then maybe we start to lift through the back heel, finding a little bit more balance. Great, guys, looking good, keeping those toes towards the earth. Full breath cycle here. And then if you'd like to, if you want to come into the Utthita Mayurasana, then maybe we start to lift through that right hand, so maintaining that balance. We keep pushing up through the mat, lots of strength here. I'm just going to come have a quick look-see. Lovely, guys. Keeping our gaze on the earth below us. Super, and then we'll bring the foot down, bring the hand down, come back to your tabletop and take any movement you want to take here just to reset, counter the pose. Might be quite nice to come off of the wrists for a moment, give them a bit of a shake or some circles. Lovely. Taking a rest maybe. Having some water, very important. And then when you're ready, we'll all meet back in tabletop to take that over to our other side. Lovely, so this time we are sending the right toes back. So we'll start in our tabletop, sending the right toes back, just taking some time to stretch through that calf before we go anywhere. So rocking back and forth. Seeing if you can kind of feel into each of the toes, so all 5 toes, right down to the pinky toe. Cultivating a bit of Padabandha. Lovely. Super, rolling through there. And then just as we did on the other side, we're going to start to walk the left fingertips forward. Find that kind of reach through the arm, that reach through the back heel. So we're finding that balance as we push away from the earth. So alternate sides are extended. We're keeping that nice, strong core engagement. So building a bit of fire in the core. Clawing through the fingers. Lovely. Holding it here, building strength. And if you'd like to, maybe we start to lift through that back heel, finding a bit of length, a bit of lift in the back body. Great, guys. And then if we want to Move into our Utthita Majurayasana. Maybe we start to lift through the left hand as well, pushing away from our mat, nice and strong. Toes face down towards the mat. Or as if you're reaching out through that hand as you're going to shake somebody's hand. Holding it here. Lovely, guys, looking good. Here for 3, 2, 1, releasing down, coming into any movement that feels nice for you. So maybe we push all the way back to our child's pose, Balasana. Maybe you'd like to come up to kind of kneeling or seated and just spend some time rolling through the wrists, whichever one feels nice for you. You can kind of combine the two. So I quite like sometimes come into child's pose and then take the wrists up and overhead and then give them a little bit of a roll here. That can be quite nice as well. But however you're choosing to rest, resting with gratitude for your effort, noticing where the mind is, building that determination as we come back towards movement. Building, we're kind of reconnecting with the breath here so that we can then use that breath to fuel our movement as we move through the class. So when you're ready, we'll all come back up to our tabletop position. So bringing ourselves back up, setting up nice and firmly again for our tabletop. Lovely, guys. Wrapping the arms around just as we did seated. We're shining the elbow creases forward, wrapping the shoulders around, clawing into the mat to push away. And then when you're ready, we're going to tuck the toes under with an inhale. Start to lift the knees just an inch or so above the mat. So back is nice and strong, center's nice and strong. You can kind of rock your hips forwards and back just to find that position where you kind of notice everything switch on, engage, and then try and hold it here. Getting that kind of full body experience, lighting that fire in your belly and your legs and your arms. Noticing where you feel it. Igniting that tapas, that inner fire, that discipline. Keeping the breath going. Smiling. We're here for 3, 2, 1. We'll send the hips back towards the ankles. Push up through your legs. Notice that shift to your downward dog. Always feel downward dog feels so lovely after that one. When we get here, just as you're doing it, pedal through the legs, start to create a little bit of space. We are going to be coming back here, so let's get super comfy in our downward dog now, so that when we come back in a minute, it's almost like muscle memory, like we're coming back to what we know, to what feels good for us today. So elevating the hips, sending the belly back to the legs, nice straight spine, pushing through the hands. Lovely, bending the knees if we need to, if that allows us to have the long spine. And then what we're going to do from here, so we have done this a couple times before, we're going to cycle through those two movements. So no need to look at the screen because we're just going to go back to where we were. But as we inhale, we'll bring our center, bring our chest, our shoulders forward, drop the knees back down to that hovering cat, holding ourselves here. And then we'll send the hips back to our downward dog. Cycling through those few movements, seeing if we can take it almost as slowly as possible. So we really notice how the energy kind of shifts between muscles. Lovely, keeping it going, feeling that strength in your body. Moving with the breath cycle. So again, whatever kind of pace or rhythm feels good for you. Maybe it feels really nice to kind of open out on the inhale and lower on the exhale. Maybe something different feels right for you. So moving really intentionally. Noticing kind of where the effort is in your body. Is there, a part of the body that could maybe be shifting into gear a little bit more to help out with the overall movement? Lovely. So I'll do one more full breath cycle, moving through those two movements. It'd be quite nice just to sometimes move through two movements that we know sometimes, just to really kind of clear the mind and find a bit of focus. Lovely. And when you're ready, we're going to take 5 full breath cycles. So it's up to you whether you want to stay in your downward dog for those breath cycles or whether we're going to bring the knees down and come into your child's pose. So connecting back with the breath here. Matching just as much effort as you just put into the movement, match that with your kind of rest now, whether that's in downward dog or whether that's somewhere else. Knowing that without these pauses, without this rest, we can't kind of sustain the discipline and the efforts. They are just as important. Super. Keeping the breath going. Lovely. And then when you're ready, we're going to all meet back in our downward dog. So sending the hips up nice and tall, elevating them up to the sky, clawing through the hands so that we're nice and strong here. Great, guys. So similar to what we were just doing with our hovering cat to downward dog, we're going to play around with that movement again, so kind of moving from our center, but we're going to bring the leg and the knee in this time. So we're going to inhale, lift through the right heel, sending it up towards the sky, three-legged dog. Lovely, and we'll start to bend through that knee, moving from your center, so from your belly button. We're going to bring that leg in, start to bring ourselves forward, bring the knee up towards your nose, holding it here for a beat. And then with the exhale, we'll send that foot back up to the sky to your downward dog. Lovely, so moving through that a couple times. Super, be nice and strong in the core, feeling that fire. Let that fire, that shape tell you that you're alive, you're safe, you're well. Super, full body experience here. Lovely. Knowing that everything you need is already in you. We'll do that one more time and then we'll all meet back in our downward dog. Coming to front dog, downward dog here. Whew. Lovely, maybe we pedal through the legs. Finding some stillness here. And then we're going to take that on to the other side. So this time we'll inhale, start to lift through the left heel. Dropping those toes down towards the mat. Bending through the knee, moving from your center. We'll start to bring our body forward, leg kind of following behind as we then lift that knee up to the nose. Exhale, moving back out to your three-legged dog. Lovely, guys. Keeping that one going. So then we'll do a few breaths on this side. So in the Upanishads, it said, by virtue of a power called tapas, ordinary men and women compel profound change. So isn't that nice? Just by like showing up, building little habits, we can really kind of bring transformation to our lives, our relationships. Lovely, we'll do that one more time. And then when you're ready, from your downward dog, we'll bring the knees down. Send the hips back this time, almost walking yourself up onto your toes. Maybe we get a little bit of a toe stretch here as we come to sit and kneeling. Lovely. And we're all going to take a little bit of a rotation of the wrist or a shake of the wrist, whichever one of those things feel better for you. If you'd like, you can always bring your heart space over to the left to do it, just to get a little bit of a twist as well whilst we're here. Get some bang for your buck. As we exhale, we'll bring the arms back up, take that over to the other side, keep the wrists moving, shaking them off or giving them a bit of a rotation. Lovely, guys. Great, and when you're ready, we'll come back to our tabletop position. Send the hips back up to your downward dog. Super, guys. This time we're going to send the right heel all the way back, so back to our three-legged dog, reaching through that leg. And then we'll bend through the knee, move from your center, bringing ourselves forward, and we'll drop that foot between the hands. Lovely. Releasing the back knee down. Feel free to add a bit of padding if that's a little bit nicer on your knee. And then nice and light through the fingertips, we're going to bring them up towards the sky. Find your Anjaneyasana. Lovely. Choosing how much you want to kind of lean into the lunge. So we want to stay quite stacked and upright. We're going to hold it here, kind of tucking the tail under. Or maybe if you want that slight stretch on the back hip, we'll start to lean ourselves forward just so we're in a comfortable position with the front knee and front ankle. So reaching up, finding that stretch, keeping the breath going. Super. Great, guys. I'm going to twist around just for a second. So reaching up here, what we're going to do, we're going to bring the palms together overhead. So Anjali Mudra. And then bring those palms to the outer part of the right thigh. So we're just bringing them to the outside of the leg, maybe finding a little bit of a twist here, but kind of staying up nice and stacked, nice and tall. So pushing through that front foot, shining the chest forward. If it's more comfortable, then you can separate the palms, maybe bring one of the hands to the lower back if that feels better for you. Also means you get a little bit of an opening in that shoulder. Lovely, keeping the breath here. Super. From here, we'll bring our palms back to the center, whether they're on our hips, up and overhead. We're going to tuck that back toe under, and then nice and strong, we're going to push up into our lunge, Alasana. Oh, nice strong movement. Again, maybe noticing that shift in the front leg, it may start to really switch on now, pushing up through the front foot. Reaching the arms up to the sky if you want to add the arms in. Shining the chest forward. Holding it here for a few breaths. Noticing when you get to that point where you're trying to move on to the next thing. Holding it here. Using the breath to fuel the movement. Lovely, guys. When you're ready, we're going to wiggle the fingertips down. Lovely. Drop that back knee. Bring the front foot back. Lovely. Just dip the hips from side to side. Here. Super. Taking a child's pose if you'd like to. So maybe we bring the hips down, maybe knees nice and wide. Maybe we just kind of pin arm out with our hands. Bring the arms behind you. Curling up into a little balasana here. Super, taking a moment to catch your breath. Reminding ourselves that everything's a practice. Anything worth doing takes some time, takes some practice, takes a lot of repetition. I think when things seem to come naturally to people, I think it's a bit of a lie. Actually, it's just lots of practice, lots of trying. And then when you're ready, we'll bring ourselves back up to tabletop and bring ourselves back to downward dog, back to our old friend downward dog. Making any adjustments you need to, whether that's taking the legs a little bit wider to support the back, the arms a bit wider to support the shoulders. And then we're going to take that little ditty, that little bit on the other side. So from here, you're raising your left leg, I believe. If I told you the wrong leg, then do whichever one you just didn't do. So inhaling, lifting through that left heel, sending it back to your downward dog. Hips are nice and stacked. Pushing through the hands. And when you're ready, we'll bend through that knee. Bring our center forward, so bringing your shoulders over the wrists. Bringing the knee through. We'll drop that between the hands. Lovely, guys. Dropping that back knee to start. Super, and then nice and light on the fingertips. We'll shine the chest forward, start to bring the arms up, nice and strong in the legs in the center. And making a choice here whether we want to tuck the tailbone, stay nice and stacked, reaching up and out the legs, or whether you want a little bit more of a stretch on that back hip. There's no right and wrong, only what's right and wrong for you. So being intentional, being smart with your choices, reaching up and out of the body, pushing through that front foot. Feeling the breath in the belly. And then when you're ready, just as we did before, bring the palms together overhead again, Anjali Mudra. And then we'll bring those palms down, bring that mudra down, take them to the outside of the left leg this time. Using it as an opportunity to get a little bit of a twist in the spine, so shoulders are nice and strong. Keeping the palms together, or maybe swimming that left hand around to the lower back so we can open out through the chest on this side. Great, guys, looking good, holding it here. Super. Breathing into the belly. Lovely. Bringing the palms back together, bringing ourselves back to center, back to forward. And we're going to do just what we did before. So nice strong movement again. It might be more challenging on this side if we have a tendency to use one side more than the others. We're going to tuck those back toes under if they aren't already and start to lift up, power up through your strong legs. Amazing, guys. Lovely. Holding it here. Choosing whether you want kind of lots of space in the arms or we're using the hands to bring everything in together, bring that energy into the midline. Keeping the breath going. Maybe listening to the sound, the quality of your breath. Using that breath to find some vitality. We're holding it here for a couple more breaths today. We're building tapas discipline, so we're gonna keep it a little bit longer than we might normally, but don't let that make you think that you can't come out of it anytime. And when you're ready with your next breath, we're going to jump that back leg in to meet the front. Give them a good shake off. Well done, guys. Shaking through the hands if you'd like to. Nice little funky chicken moment, shaking everything off. Any kind of free movement that you fancy doing. Might be kind of rolling through the hips. Some nice hip circles, giving everything a good shake, maybe some knocking on heaven's door, whatever feels right for you. A lot of kind of rigid movement. So we're making it a bit more fluid now. Lovely. So we've spent quite a bit of time on the ground. We're going to do a few standing poses before we do a few bits on the floor before we finish. So we're going to start with a couple little half sun salutations. That we're going to build a bit of chair into this. So we did look at chair a couple of weeks ago. So we'll revisit it again. But before we go anywhere, as we always do, let's take a moment to really ground through the feet. So we're coming to our Tadasana. Legs can be hips distance apart or together if that's more comfortable. Maybe if we have a tendency to do one, maybe we try the other one today. But bringing our attention to our feet, maybe taking a moment just to wiggle through the toes, lift them off the mat before we place them all down again. Imagining we're kind of rooting down through your feet. So imagine literal roots kind of holding you to the ground, to the earth. We're drawing up energy from the earth. Lovely. When you're ready, we'll inhale, start to reach through the fingertips, taking them up and overhead. Nice big stretch through the body. As we exhale, we'll swan dive, fold at the hips, bring our chest down to Uttanasana. Forward fold, lovely. Inhale, find your halfway lift, so push through the feet, squeeze the elbows back, find a nice flat back here. Lovely, guys. This time as we exhale, we're going to bring the arms up in front of us, sink the hips back into an imaginary chair and find our chair pose. Lovely. Playing around with kind of the tilt of the tailbone to find what's comfortable for you. So sometimes to get that length in the spine, it can be nice just to tuck it under slightly rather than kind of sticking the bum out too much, but you'll feel when it feels kind of strong and comfortable in the back for you. Engaging through the center, really shooting energy through the hands. So come check on you guys. Lovely, guys. Looking good, holding it here. Seeing if we can drop those hips just a little bit lower. And now with your next exhale, we'll straighten through the legs, bring the chest back down to your Uttanasana. Lovely, guys. Whew. When you're ready, pushing through the feet, rolling our way back up to standing. Lovely, guys. Arriving here in mountain pose, letting everything kind of resettle. Taking a couple breaths here, noticing what came up. Noticing how the mind responds when things get challenging. And showing our body and our minds some gratitude for all the hard things that they're doing. We're doing a good job. Super, so we'll go through that little half sun salutation again. So when you're ready, we're going to inhale, take the arms up and overhead. As we exhale, find your Uttanasana, keeping a nice generous bend in the knees if we need to. Releasing and folding down here. With your next inhale, we'll find our halfway lift. Option to keep the hands on our legs as usual, or maybe you want to take the arms out behind you, kind of finding our aeroplane arms, pushing down and away from the earth, so keep that nice flat back. Holding it here. Keep pushing through the feet, squeezing the elbows into the body. And then with your next exhale, we're going to drop the hips back, send the arms up, find your chair pose again. Whew. And if you have the luxury of a wall or something nearby, you can always use that to your advantage. If that helps you find that kind of energetic shift in the arms and the legs, then by all means, use what we have available. Find that nice position of tailbone, reaching through the fingers, pushing, grounding through the legs, seeing if we can sink a little bit lower. Lovely, guys, looking good. We're all doing it together. All here as one, doing our chair. We're here for 3, 2, 1. This time we'll push through the legs, coming up, maybe steeple grip up and overhead. Nice and reach through the side body. As we exhale, letting the arms go. Whew, finding our Tadasana. Taking a drink if we haven't had one. It's definitely getting warmer for these sessions. So make sure we're looking after ourselves, practicing self-love, having lots of water, hydrating. Super. So when you're ready, we are going to come towards our warrior 2. If you want to go through kind of a fancy transition to get there, you absolutely can. Maybe some warrior 3, stepping out, coming up, all lovely. Or we can just take the legs wide and come into it that way. It's all good. So finding the old familiar warrior 2. So front toes facing the short edge of the mat. Finding a comfortable angle for that back foot. Bringing it in line with the front foot. Gently easing into that front knee. So finding that opening in the hip. Lovely to find our nice, strong, sturdy warrior legs. So if I were to push down on them, they're going to keep you there nice and strong. And then with an inhale, we'll open up through the arms gracefully and grandly, finding those fierce arms, taking your gaze over the middle finger, noticing what it feels like to be a warrior 2 this evening. Keeping that energy going. using that breath to fuel the movement. I know we say that a lot, but really feel it in your arms. When you're a baby in the womb, a fetus, that's the word I'm looking for, your arms actually grow out of your lungs. So really feel that here. Feel the power that your breath gives to your arms. Holding it here. Finding the fierceness of the pose, that inner warrior. Our inner warrior that's going to help us build fire in tapas. As we exhale, really sinking down in the legs and the arms if you want to, that's all good too. Keeping it going. Lovely, guys. With our next exhale, we're going to bring that front elbow down towards the front thigh, kind of resting it here but not crashing in. And then with that top arm, sending it up overhead, taking the gaze to that top fingers, finding our Parsvakonasana side angle pose. Lovely, really opening through that chest and the belly. Sometimes it can be helpful to even use that top hand just to really like pull ourselves up and open. And we can keep the fingers reaching up towards the sky, creating lots of lovely energy, or we can again rest it on the side of the body, get a nice opening in the shoulders, whichever feels best for you. But we're nice and strong in that front foot. Keep pushing through that back foot so it's not just the front leg doing all the work. Lovely. When you're ready, we're going to bring that top arm down, place it inside the front foot, twist on your back toes, start to reach through the right hand. So we're finding a twist on the other side. I'm going to turn around just so it's easier to keep watch over you. Super, guys, looking good. So again, same twist, same opening in the front body as we shine the chest forward. Lovely. And then we'll wiggle those fingertips down so feet are wrapped, hands are wrapping around the front foot, sorry. And then as slow as we can, we're going to jump that back leg in, but no rush, bringing it down to our Uttanasana. Lovely, guys. Super, bringing the feet together, releasing into our fold here. So either fingertips on the ground, maybe want to interlace the hands and the elbows so we can really kind of hang here. Maybe want to interlace the fingers, take them behind kind of the nape of the neck, bringing our elbows down, feeling into the fold. Nice generous bend in the knees if that's better for us. And then when you're ready, we'll gently roll our way up towards standing, rolling the shoulders down as we get to the top. Again, taking anything you need to take, whether it's a little shake of the arms at the top, a little shake of the legs, or maybe we just want to find stillness for a breath when we get here. So again, no right or wrong. Whatever, as long as it's intentional, as long as we're moving with love for our body, then it's all good. Super. And then when you're ready, we're going to find our warrior two on the opposite side this time. So again, if you want to take a nice little flow into your warrior two, you are of course welcome to. Or we're going to gradually find our way in. Feel like a bit like an old lady when I do that sometimes. We're not going to rush in, we're not going straight into like power moves. We're easing ourselves in. Into warrior two on the other side. Bringing the breath, bringing the energy, the fierceness. Reaching through the arms just as soon as we're ready. Taking our focus, our drishti to the end of our fingers. Or just into the distance. Holding our warrior two here, noticing what it feels like. Lovely, guys. Super. Pushing through that back foot, that's not just the front foot doing all the work. Lovely. And when you're ready, we're going to bring that front elbow down just as we did before. Bring the top hands up, Find your Parsvakonasana side angle pose. This is one that, again, I feel like looks quite simple, but for me is literally one of my trickiest poses. I really feel it like everywhere. So if that's you as well, I've got you. We're in this together. It's all good. It's all good. So keeping reaching, keeping the tummy away from that front thigh. We're just using it as a support. So if you moved your elbow, you should still be in the same place. That's what you're aiming for. You don't want to fall down if that elbow moves. So holding it here, nice and strong in both legs, nice and strong in the center. And then we're going to start to move towards that twist. So either moving from your arms first or your feet. I like to bring that hand down, frame the foot, twist that back foot, and then plant through the right hand, reach through the left hand. Find your twist on this side. I'm going to come out so I can keep an eye on you guys. Lovely. Really pushing through that back heel. Yeah, lovely, Brittany. Looking good. Super. Holding it here for a moment, finding not only that strength, but that balance, the energy in the fingertips. Lovely. From here, we're going to bring that top fingertip down, come to wrap around the foot again. This time, we're going to send the front foot back, find your plank pose. Oh, we've not done a plank in a little while, so we're going to enjoy this one. I'm going to flip my hair the other way. Here we go. Lowering through the hips, really pushing through the arms, squeezing back through the heels, circling the belly button up to meet the back body. Feeling that fire. We can bring the knees down if we need to, as long as we're keeping that kind of fire in the belly. Zipping everything into the midline. Some nice strong plank here. Whew. And then when you're ready, chaturanga, or we'll drop the knees, bring our front body down towards the mat. Lovely, guys. Ooh, taking a moment here. Either in your crocodile pose, so we're either gonna one potato, two potato, the arms resting the head, or if we wanted to go for a little gentle back bend today, we'll bring our elbows underneath the shoulders. Find a Sphinx pose here, so shining the heart space forward, grounding through the pelvis, through the legs, pushing away from your mat, so as if you're ripping the mat into two. Lovely, breathing into the belly here, feeling the belly as it pushes against the earth, whether that's from our crocodile or from our Sphinx. If we're in Sphinx, imagine that I'm kind of nipping you at the back of your neck and pulling you up. As you do so, you might feel your belly, your pelvis push against the mat. Super. And if we're loving life here, if this feels good, then we're just going to stay exactly where you are. Or maybe if you're in Sphinx, you want to go into crocodile, crocodile into Sphinx, but we're going to stay here. If you want another little moment of heat, of fire, we're going to bring the hands together into a fist, push through the elbows, push into the shoulder blades, and then start to lift through your hips, find your forearm plank. Whew. So notice how it feels different to your regular plank, dropping through the hips. As we drop through the hips, really pushing into those arms, we're ballooning through the shoulders. Lovely, guys, holding it here. Knowing that we're in this together. Knowing that we're alive, we're safe, we're well. We're doing this because we can do it. We've got everything that we need. And then when you're ready, we'll bring the knees down, bring the hips down. And again, find your Sphinx or your crocodile pose, whatever feels more restful for you. Whew, releasing through the breath. Lovely, guys. Reminding ourselves to sustain all that strength and effort, we need to have the rest too. Noticing if there's any kind of buzzing in the body or warmth in the body, whatever that means or kind of feels like for you after all that strong work. Noticing what it feels like to be in your body here. Super. Lovely. When you're ready, we're going to push ourselves back up. We're going to come towards a seated position. So coming up in whatever way feels best for you, maybe through tabletop, maybe coming up to kneeling and swinging the legs around. Lovely, but we're basically coming to the opposite of where we just were. Lovely. And just before we finish, before we come into kind of our final stretches and relaxation, we're going to have a little bit of a play with some boats. And it's up to you kind of how much you want to get into your boat or how much you want to, where you want to go with it. There's no kind of place but aiming for. We're showing up for ourselves kind of wherever we are today. So as always, starting sitting up nice and tall. So we're bringing the chest through. Again, if we want a bit of a cushion just to tilt the tailbone, that can be helpful. Keeping our feet on the floor, and maybe even here already we feel that activation as the center starts to switch on. Maybe your legs are starting to fall apart a bit. We're going to do our best to really bring them into the midline. If you'd like to, maybe we come up onto the toes. Maybe we lift through one leg. Maybe we lift through both. There's no right or wrong, just right or wrong for you. Finding your boat pose, really squeezing the knees and the thighs together, lifting through the chest. And if you feel like you've got the energy today, maybe we release the hands, send them forward, inviting all that lovely energy. Lovely, guys. So again, we're all doing it together, all three of us. We've got each other's back, we're all good. Sending our gaze up towards the sky. Lovely, holding it here. Inviting in that energy, feeling that shake in the body, full body experience. Keep sending that chest forward so we're nice and tall, long in the back. Lovely. We're here for 3, 2, 1. Maybe we take a big explode, straighten through the legs, straighten through the arms, point the toes. And then we're going to hug the legs in. Oh, give ourselves a good hug. Notice how nice that feels to come out of that nice strong movement into the relaxation. So option to stay here, kind of hugging the legs if that feels nice. Obviously option to go straight into Shavasana. Option to come into that boat again. Or maybe we take a slightly different approach this time. And again, we keep the feet on the ground. Or we can lift them up, but we're gonna pretend we've got our Simba, as Adrian would say. So we've got our baby Simba, we're taking it overhead. With the breath, we're gonna kind of twist it to the side, so a bit like a Russian twist. So even with the toes on the floor, you're gonna kind of feel that energy, feel that connection to your core. Or maybe we wanna kind of raise through the feet, maybe crossing them over if that feels good. And keep that movement going. So staying up nice and tall. Maybe we kind of take one leg out as we come to the opposite side. Whatever feels good for you. Lovely, guys. Looking really good. Being nice and intentional. So moving with the breath. So seeing almost how slow we can take it. We're here for 3, 2, 1. Hug the legs into the chest again. Whew. Nice little love cave. And then from here, we're going to bring the arms underneath the legs now. And then just start to walk the heels out. Kind of bringing your chest towards the legs. Maybe start to shuffle back with the bum as well. Find your forward fold from here. So Paschimottanasana. Bringing the head down, keeping a nice generous bend in the knees or space in the knees if that's nicer on your hamstrings. Whew. Letting go, releasing into the fold here. Lovely, guys. Noticing what the breath sounds like. So allowing the front body to really release, allowing the core to soften. We're letting go in the center, letting the breath blow and push the belly. Lovely, guys. And when you're ready, we'll slowly start to walk ourselves back up. And then we're going to come towards our Shavasana. So if you want to grab a cushion or a blanket, maybe some socks, whatever it is, layers to keep you nice and cozy and nice and warm to find your final resting pose. Lovely. It's taking the time to really care for ourselves and the body. We can take our Shavasana with the legs out long, so softening through the feet, letting them fall to the side. Maybe it's more comfortable for you to keep the feet on the floor, the knees knocking in our constructive rest. Or maybe you want to take your Supta Baddha Konasana, so feet come in, knees come out. Whichever one feels best for you this evening is going to allow you to find that final bit of relaxation. So if there's anything on the mind, any to-do lists, anything you're thinking, oh, I need to do that when I finish or when I get out, then putting that to one side, knowing that will all be there when you finish. And starting to soften through the body, so softening through the eyes, closing the eyes or lowering the gaze. Allowing the feet to fall out to the side, the ankles to release. Softening through the calves, through the knees. Gently releasing through the hips. The middle back. The upper back. Dropping the shoulders. Softening through the arms, the elbows, the hands. Letting the body be. Using our inhale and our exhales, our breaths to relax us. To relax the body with the mind. Noticing if there are any sounds around you. And if there are, knowing that they're supposed to be there. And letting that relax you. They're supposed to be there and you're supposed to be here. There's nowhere else to go. Nothing to do. Nothing more important than this. Integrating the effects of our physical practice, our emotional practice, our energetic practice. And allowing this time to let us just be here. Letting the mind rest back so we can feel safe, open and at ease. Knowing the purpose here is not to clear the mind, it's not to have no thoughts at all, but just allowing ourselves to notice, to be really present and to notice what comes up. So I'm going to go nice and quiet. And any thoughts that do come up, just treating them like a cloud, seeing them like a cloud as it drifts in and out of the mind, in and out of your vision, your eye line. Keeping the breath going. bringing our awareness and our attention back to the room, back to our external surroundings, making a decision here whether you want to stay where you are, enjoy your Shavasana a little bit longer, or if you wanted to end your practice seated, in which case you might want to bring a little bit of movement back into the body now, knowing that there's no rush. So maybe rolling through the wrists, bringing the knees into the chest, taking a nice big stretch overhead, maybe a big yawn. Coming out of your Shavasana in whatever way feels right. Maybe taking some time to roll onto one side and just pause there for a moment before we come to seated. As we arrive, finding our Anjali Mudra, so bringing the palms together, lowering the gaze or closing the eyes, to set our intentions the rest of the evening, the rest of our week, reminding ourselves that what happens on the mat shows us what can happen off the mat, shows us what we're capable of, what we can achieve. Finishing our practice with some gratitude for our body and for our mind, everything it's just done for us. Thanking each other for sharing our time and our energy. I will see you all very soon. Thanks for joining. Thank you very much, everybody. Thanks for joining on a Monday. I'm going to end the recording. I think I just driver mode. This is good.